Trump's influence is shaking up global alliances. Right now, 10 countries are pulling away from the US, cutting deals elsewhere, and changing loyalties fast. What's really driving the split, and how bad could it get? Stick around, the list may surprise you. Let's kick things off with Germany, a close US ally for decades. But lately things have been frosty. Germany criticized Trump's NATO and climate policies. Trump called Germany delinquent on NATO spending, and there's the climate change issue. Germany leads in renewables. Trump had different priorities. Germany called Trump's Paris Agreement withdrawal regrettable. Germany's investing in its own defense, reducing reliance on the US. This shift is subtle, but there. Germany's still a key US ally, but the relationship has seen better days. Next up, we're heading north to Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north. We're talking about a relationship that's historically been as smooth as maple syrup, but even the sweetest relationships can turn sour. And that's kind of what happened between the US and Canada under Trump. It all started with trade. Trump slapped tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, claiming it was a national security threat. Canada, understandably, wasn't too thrilled about that and retaliated with tariffs of their own. It was a full-blown trade war, with neither side backing down. And if that wasn't enough, then came the immigration debates. Trump's policies, particularly family separation at the border, sparked outrage in Canada, a country known for its open and welcoming stance towards immigrants. It created this moral divide, with many Canadians feeling like the US was no longer the ally they once knew. The result? A relationship that's definitely seen better days. Sure, there's still cooperation on some fronts, but the trust and camaraderie that once defined the US-Canada bond, let's just say it's taken a hit. Now let's head south to Mexico, a country deeply impacted by US policies under Trump. The border wall, the tariffs, the rhetoric, it's been a roller coaster of tension. Trump made it clear that Mexico was in his crosshairs. He called Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, and vowed to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Then there were the tariffs. Trump used tariffs as a bargaining chip, creating fear and uncertainty. His words painted Mexicans as a threat, chilling US-Mexico relations. Bonjour from France, a country that's known for its love of freedom, equality, and, well, maybe not Donald Trump so much. France and the US, we've got a long and storied history, but things got a little complicated under Trump's watch. Remember that whole Make America Great Again thing? Yeah, France wasn't so keen on the whole nationalistic vibe. They saw it as a step back from global cooperation and a sign that the US was turning inward. And then there's climate change. France has been a vocal advocate for environmental protection, while Trump, well, let's just say he wasn't exactly known for his love of trees. This difference in opinion led to some tense moments, with French President Emmanuel Macron even publicly challenging Trump on the issue. But it's not just about policy disagreements. There's a sense that the US and France are drifting apart culturally as well. Trump's brash style and America First rhetoric didn't exactly resonate with the French, who value diplomacy and international cooperation. Alright, let's talk about China, a country that's become a major player on the world stage. Under Trump, the US-China relationship went from complicated to downright frosty, and it all boils down to one thing: trade. Trump accused China of unfair trade practices, intellectual property theft, you name it. His solution? Tariffs. Lots and lots of tariffs. It was a full-blown trade war, with both sides slapping tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods. This trade war had ripple effects across the global economy, but it also had a deeper impact on US-China relations. It created an atmosphere of mistrust and animosity, making it harder for the two countries to cooperate on other issues, like North Korea or climate change. And it's not just about trade. China's been flexing its muscles on the world stage, expanding its influence in Africa, Asia, and beyond. This has made the US nervous, leading to a more confrontational approach from the Trump administration. Next up, we're heading to the Middle East, a region that's no stranger to conflict. And under Trump, things got a whole lot more complicated with Iran. One of Trump's first major foreign policy moves was to withdraw the US from the Iran nuclear deal, an agreement that had been years in the making. This decision was widely condemned by the international community, but Trump argued that the deal was terrible, and that it didn't go far enough to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions. The withdrawal of the deal led to a ratcheting up of tensions between the US and Iran. The US imposed crippling sanctions on Iran, targeting their oil exports and financial system. Iran, in turn, resumed some of its nuclear activities, bringing it closer to developing a nuclear weapon. This standoff has brought the US and Iran dangerously close to war. While both sides have so far avoided a full-blown conflict, the situation remains incredibly volatile. Remember when Obama went to Cuba and it seemed like relations were finally thawing between these two Cold War adversaries? Yeah, about that. Under Trump, the US-Cuba relationship took a serious U-turn. Trump rolled back many of the Obama-era policies that had eased restrictions on travel and trade with Cuba. He also imposed new sanctions on the Cuban government, citing human rights abuses and their support for Venezuela. These moves were praised by some Cuban-American hardliners, but they were criticized by others who argued that engagement was the best way to promote change in Cuba. The result? A return to the Cold War chill between the US and Cuba. The thaw that Obama initiated has frozen over, and it's unclear when or if relations will improve. It seems like we can't go a day without hearing about Russia these days, and under Trump, the US-Russia relationship became one of the most talked about and controversial foreign policy issues. When Trump first came into office, there were hopes that he would be able to improve relations with Russia. He had, after all, praised Russian President Vladimir Putin on numerous occasions, but those hopes were quickly dashed. The Russia investigation, which shadowed Trump's presidency, revealed extensive contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia. This, coupled with Russia's interference in the 2016 election, poisoned the well between the two countries. And it's not just about election meddling. The US and Russia have clashed over a range of issues, from Syria to Ukraine to arms control. Next up, Turkey, a NATO ally and a key player in the Middle East, also found itself at odds with the US under Trump. The relationship between these two countries has always been complicated, but it reached a new low during Trump's presidency. One of the biggest points of contention was Syria. Turkey was angered by the US's support for the Kurdish YPG militia in Syria, which Turkey views as a terrorist organization. Trump's decision to withdraw US troops from Syria, while welcomed by Turkey, was seen by many as a betrayal of the Kurds and a strategic blunder that benefited Russia and the Syrian regime. Another sore point was Turkey's purchase of the Russian S-400 missile defense system. The US argued that the S-400 was incompatible with NATO systems and posed a threat to US security. Turkey, however, refused to back down, arguing that it had a right to purchase weapon systems from whomever it chose. Finally, we arrive at Venezuela, a country in crisis. And under Trump, the US took a hard line against the Venezuelan government, imposing sanctions and recognizing opposition leader Juan Guaido as the legitimate president. The Trump administration argued that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was a dictator who had rigged elections and driven his country into the ground. The US imposed sanctions on Venezuela's oil industry, which is the lifeblood of its economy. The Trump administration also provided support to Guaido, who declared himself interim president in 2019. These actions further isolated Venezuela and exacerbated the country's economic and political crisis. While the Trump administration argued that it was standing up for democracy and human rights in Venezuela, critics accused the US of pursuing regime change and meddling in Venezuelan affairs. So, there you have it. 10 countries, 10 relationships forever changed by the policies and actions of the Trump administration. It's a complex web of global politics, economic interests, and clashing ideologies. But one thing's for sure. The world is watching, and the impact of these strained relationships will be felt for years to come. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analyses on global politics. Let us know in the comments which country you think has been most affected by Trump's policies. Thanks for watching and stay informed.